everybody! Today's video is going to be all about keratin tipped fusion hair extensions. I'm going to go over some pros and cons, and I'm also going to be showing you guys demos on how to apply them and also how to remove them. So I'm going to try to cover a ton of stuff in this video, but if I left anything out and you have more questions, feel free to ask that also. So I'm going to just jump right into it and tell you guys where I got these extensions and the brand and everything like that. So I got these hair extensions from visionhairextensions.com, and that is a website that has multiple kinds of extensions, so you can choose from different brands. I chose the brand 909 European Hair, and that is the keratin tipped extension. They claim to have a stronghold keratin. I also have an 808, but I went with the 909 just by going off of reviews. And you do have to have your license to purchase 909 hair extensions from this website, which I think is a good idea for some options. Now there are options that you don't have to have your license, but I chose the options where you do, just because I am a licensed cosmetologist and I figured that there had to be a reason the website required that for certain brands. So that is another reason I chose 909 European Hair. Before I get into too many details, I will just show you what it looks like. So here is one strand here, and it is in 14 inches, and here is the top where the keratin tip is, and it is sort of U-shaped or C-shaped. You can kind of see there, and it is sort of a shorter bond than I am used to using. But like I said, this is the 14 inch, and I did end up coloring these, but I will be showing you guys a clip of the original color that was a little bit lighter. Now the color I got before coloring them was 18-22, which is considered a light ash brown and blonde mix. So what I did was order 2 packs of the 40 strands, so I had 80 strands total, and one strand equals about 1 gram. So I had about 80 grams of hair, and I did end up cutting a few inches off. So if I show you pretty much putting this where my first row is, you can see that it comes way down here, and I did end up cutting it about to up here, and that was just to blend better with my hair. I did give it a few days before I cut that much off. I actually for a few hours did not cut it at all, just because I wanted to see layer wise what I want to do and everything like that. So I just kind of played around with it for a few hours and then decided to go from there, and I did cut layers, leaving the length at that point. About a week later I went back in and cut probably about 3 inches off, and that is what I have now. So like I said, I only have 80 strands or 80 grams in my hair, and that is considered a half head. For a full head, you would probably need about 4 or 5 packs of 40, just depending on your thickness, what you're looking for, lengthwise, everything like that does go into consideration with these extensions. I tried doing a full head, and it was just too much hair and it was not blending in with my shorter layers. So I will show you where I have mine at. So on the sides here, you can see I only have about probably 10 in this little area, so you can see that only goes to about eyebrow level. And for a full head, most people would wear them up to about here, and then I have them stopping right here. And then for the back, I only have rows starting from like the nape of my neck and a few inches up, so right at the occipital bone. And for a full head, you would more than likely put them about here, and then mine stops right here. So naturally my hair is fine and it is short, but I don't need a ton of hair to make it blend with my own, just for that simple reason that I do have fine hair and I don't have a lot of it. So you can see when I pull this up that my natural hair is right here. So it is really short. And I know a lot of extensions say that you need about 4 inches, but that probably is only like 2.5, and I think it blends just fine as long as you make sure when you style it that it is hidden with the rest of your hair. So before I get into the pros and cons, I do want to show you the demo of how to apply them and the kind that I got, just for the simple fact that I want you to see the kind of hair that it is. So like I said, I got the 909 brand in 14 inches, and the original color was 18-22, which is light ash brown and blonde mix. So I'm going to show you guys what they look like straight from the pack, or like in the pack when I just open the box, and a few things that you're going to need to apply them. So I'm going to show you guys that demo right now.
So here I am just showing you what I got, and then you can see what the keratin bond looks like up close. And these extensions do sort of taper off. They're not super blunt at the end, which I personally like just because my hair is not blunt at all. And then here you can just see the color. So what you're going to need is just the applicator and then the fusion tool that heats up to bond the hair to your hair. So here you can just see I'm taking a small piece of hair, basically the same size as the bonded hair extension. And then you want to place that through the hair just with that little top part. Your hair just slides right through. And then I like to clip it at the top to secure it. And then you want to place the bonded hair extensions toward the top of your hair, just leaving about a 1/4 inch at the top. And then you just want to take that tool that heats the hair up and then just put that right over the bond. And then what I like to do is fold over that hair and then just sort of pinch it so my hair is in between. And then I do like to reheat it and redo that step just to make sure that it is bonded nice and tight. You can roll it a little bit more so it's not so flat, but I kind of like to leave it on the flatter side just so it lays down better. And that is all you have to do to bond the extension into your hair. And then here is just a clip of what it looked like before I cut it. It blends pretty decently, but layering and everything does help that.
So that is how you apply the hair extensions. Now I want to show you how to remove them. And these hair extensions should not cause any damage if you are removing them correctly and if they were placed in your hair correctly. So all you need to do is take a bond remover, which is basically an acetone based liquid, and use pliers once you have that on and sort of let it soak just for a few seconds, and then just use the pliers to break up that bond, and then it should slide right off your hair easily. If you find that it's not sliding off the hair easily, you have to apply more of the bond remover and then go ahead and repeat that step. What I like to do is apply a decent amount of the bond remover and let it sit for about 3 to 5 seconds just to let it kind of like work its way in. And then you can go ahead and break it up with the pliers, and I like to probably do like 3 to 5 clamps with the pliers before I even start to sort of slightly pull the extension down to see if it is loose enough to come completely out of my hair. So you will see in the demo how I remove it, and then I show you the hair extension afterward. And I do have like 4 or 5 hairs that are in the extension when I pull them out. But the thing with that is you lose about 100 strands of your own natural hair a day. So you have to think that even though you have extensions in, you're still losing hair, so those hairs can't be shed naturally, so they just stay in that extension. So even if you see a couple hairs in the extension when they are removed, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is damaging your hair. Those hairs naturally probably just shed unless you feel it pulling when the extension is removed. So I'm going to show you that demo right now.
So here's the bond remover I used. It's by Cinderella Hair, and then I just have household pliers. So like I said, all you want to do is put that bond remover right at the bond, and after a few seconds of letting it soak, all you have to do is just clamp down with the pliers in different spots just to break up that bond, and then you can see that it easily just slides off and only a few hairs were left.
So now I want to go over some pros and cons of fusion hair extensions, and I have tried these in the past. I did forget to mention that they were just the kind from Sally's, and I tried them before I had my license or anything like that, before I knew like too much about extensions. And I did notice back then that I would lose a couple a week, but this time around I noticed a lot of cons that I didn't think of before or that I didn't realize before. Let's go over the pros first, and just to give you guys a good idea on the positives of fusion hair extensions. So I think fusion hair extensions are great for adding length and thickness for a more permanent result, and they do last between 3 and 6 months, which I think is awesome because it doesn't require too much maintenance like other semi-permanent hair extensions do. If you do have longer hair naturally, you can wear your hair up in a higher bun or ponytail, and I think that's great because some extensions like clip-ins, I know you have to place them a certain way to wear them up comfortably, so it is really great that if you have a little bit longer hair, even medium length hair, you can pull your hair up with the extensions to cover, and you should not be able to see them. You can't do anything too tight, but a simple loose ponytail or bun will totally work with these kinds of hair extensions. Since you have to buy a few different packs, you can buy different colors, which I think is great because that allows for better blending, and you can also color these extensions, and I do have a video on that I will be linking down below if you guys want to check it out. I basically just toned it to a little bit slightly darker of a blonde. I wouldn't go from like blonde to black or anything like that, but you can sort of tone and color these extensions just depending on the result that you're trying to go for. So those are some of the pros that I like about fusion hair extensions. I am sure there are plenty more. I just can't think of any off the top of my head other than that. And I do like them, I should say that, but there are some cons to having fusion hair extensions. The first con that I want to mention is if your hair is shorter like mine, you cannot wear high ponytails or buns with it. I actually do wear braids or low ponytails because they are just hidden a lot better. Like you can see here that if I were to put my hair in a low pony, it does go okay. You can't see any of the bonds. But let's say that I were to try to wear my hair a little bit higher than I typically would be able to. You can see right back in here that you can see those bonds because my hair is not long enough to be pulled up and secured into a pony, so it just falls and then those bonds are exposed. A few other cons are if you don't apply enough of the fusion hair extensions, especially in a certain area, you will find that it looks like a piece of your hair is missing or a whole chunk of your hair is missing. And then if you don't have enough in the area, you almost have to order more if you don't have any, which is just more cost, especially if they have like 20 or 40 strands in a pack and you only need a few. So you almost have to lay out everything ahead of time, know how many packs you're wanting, which is really hard to do. So I think that that's a con, is right off the bat you might not know how many packs you need, so you might under order or over order the amount of packs. And another thing that sort of goes hand in hand with that is if you have one fall out in a certain area, it basically looks like you're missing a chunk of hair also, and you cannot reuse these extensions once they're out. I've tried doing it and it doesn't typically work very well just because once the keratin glue is melted, it's basically like gone after that point. So you can't remelt it because it's already been used and sort of like tarnished. And like I said, I've tried doing it before and it's worked in some cases, but other cases where I've tried to reapply the extension, it just doesn't work out. It either literally does not work at that second or it falls out within a day. So that is another con, is they can't be reused, and once they fall out, they're done. So it's basically a waste of money once that extension is out. The first few nights they can be uncomfortable to sleep on, and then after that you sort of get used to it, but if depending on the position you're laying in, you can feel that you are wearing extensions. Like if I were to run my hands over my hair, I can feel them. So they are uncomfortable to sleep on, mainly because they are tight to the head when you first put them in. So basically trying to find a good position to sleep in like the first 2-3 days is really hard. And I noticed no matter what position I laid in, I just could not get comfortable. So I didn't get very much sleep the first few nights, and I do remember that, and I know a lot of people do complain about that, but that is something that I did want to bring up. And if the wind blows or anything, you can sort of see them, which is another con that most people probably would consider not wanting to get these for that simple reason. But I think any extension has that risk, so that is just something that you basically have to go through when wearing extensions, is that they can maybe be seen. And like I said earlier, I do have about 80 strands in my hair, and then once I got all of those in and cut them and everything, I ordered another 2 packs of 40 to equal 80 just so I had them on hand. I do want to bring up that I only have 4 extensions left out of that other 80 because extensions either fell out and I had to replace them, or I noticed that certain spots had to have more hair. And then I also colored my hair pastel and neon blue, and then the pastel faded really quick, and then I was left with a really ugly seafoam green for the neon blue, so I took those out and replaced those. So out of those packs, because of those reasons, I only have 4 left, and I've only been wearing these extensions for 2 days over 4 weeks. So I basically have gone through 4 packs and I'm only wearing 2 in that month or whatever, and that is such a waste of money in my opinion. So I can only speak for myself with these pros and cons. It's going to be different for everybody, but I can say right now that if I'm already having to replace that many just within a month, imagine going 3 to 6 months with these and having to replace them. Now, I'm not saying that that is how every brand of fusion hair extensions is. That is just the problem that I am having with this specific brand, or that might just be something I'm doing wrong. I have no idea why so many are falling out because I am really careful with them. I don't run a brush over the bonds at all. When I'm brushing my hair, what I like to do is take my hair from the top, and then where I know the extensions are going, I basically like hop over that area and then brush through the bottom like that. So I don't even get near the bonds when when I brush my hair. So it's not that I am pulling them out, doing things like that. I don't style them in really tight updos or anything, so it's not like they're being tugged left and right. So that is something that I do want to bring up, is you're going to lose a few, but I find with this specific brand that I've been losing way more than I ever remembered. So that's something I did want to bring up. With this brand, I'm thinking that I don't know if the glue is just, it's not strong enough, even though it claims to be a strong holding keratin. I'm not sure. I'm just having an issue with that. So like I said, I've only been wearing them for a little over 4 weeks, and I actually already ordered different hair extensions. So I do want to say that I like Fusion hair extensions, but this specific brand I just was not having luck with. I think they are really pretty. They're shiny. They dry really fast, which is nice. I've had extensions that take forever to blow dry or air dry, and these ones dry really nicely. It dries faster than my natural hair. They do dry in a nice wave. You can see that this is just an air dried extension. So that matches my natural hair, and it should match a bunch of people's hair also, even if you have straight or slightly curly. The wave is just nice because it does blend, and I noticed that I don't have to use a lot of product on them. They style really easily, they hold a curl, and everything like that. So I do want to say that about the brand. It's not everything is bad. I'm just thinking that there is not enough keratin at the top to bond enough to my type of hair. I do have the extensions on my natural hair color. Like obviously my ends are blonde, but where the bond is in my hair, that is where my natural hair is, and it is pretty healthy, and so it sort of is a slicker feel than say bleached hair or colored hair would be. So I am going to be going back to tape-ins. I'm trying a new brand and a new type of color that this brand has, so I will be updating you guys on that, but I did want to get this video up before I removed these hair extensions and did the tape-ins again. And I do have a video on tape-ins. If you guys want to watch that, I will also be linking that video down below. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave those, and I will be happy to help you guys out. If you haven't subscribed and want to, don't forget to do that, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bye everybody.